In this third training module, we're going to look at some information that, well, you really don't have to know. But I think it's good background so that you'll understand what's going on underneath the screen. The databases are actually built in two separate pieces. So there's a database that we get from Spectrum that defines the owners. We also have the same thing for the managers and the vendors. But there's a second piece to that database, or literally a second database that's attached to that, called Owner Each. Now, I don't know why I called it that, I just did. I needed a name for it. And in fact, each one of the databases has the same thing. So the owners have an owner each, the managers have a manager each, and the vendors have a vendor each. That lets each of those parties go in and add vehicles for their group. So if an owner has the husband, the wife, a son or daughter, they'll have 3 or 4 vehicles attached to their owner record. Same thing for a manager. They may have 10 different people cleaning for that company that all are attached to that manager. All of that information points back to the unit. The unit is really the key to this whole thing. So once you put in a unit number, all of those other databases are looking back to that information. Now, another thing to keep in mind is whether you're working at the desk or the guardhouse, there are just 4 tasks that we're asking. We want to scan the driver's license. We want to input their destination, typically a unit number. We want to select the departure date. And that actually comes from a drop-down menu, so you'll find it's really easy. And the number of guests. Same thing, that's a drop-down, so it's simple. The one piece of information that differs between the desk and the guardhouse is the license plate data. We really don't have that information until they get to the guardhouse. Now, there is a place where you can enter it at the desk. So if a person actually knows that, you can enter that information if you want to. But you really don't have to, because the way the system's designed is when you print them a pass at the desk, when they reach the guardhouse, they simply show that pass to the guard. He zaps it with his barcode zapper, and it enters the license plate data. So it adds that information to the current record. So from this point forward, everything's going to be pretty much the same between both of you, but they're different screens. The one other thing that I wanted to tell you about is scan from email. Once we develop the system so that we can email a guest the day before they arrive, they'll come in with an email, either in print or on their phone, that has a QR code on it. When you zap that QR code, it brings in the unit number, the departure date, the information about the person. The only thing you'll have to do is we still want to scan their driver's license, and we still want to enter the number of guests. So again, you both will be using this one data entry screen, but that's about the only thing you have in common. Although the process is similar for both of you, it goes through different steps. So from this point forward, the training series is going to divide into 2 parts, whether you're working at the desk or whether you're working at the guardhouse. Now, I encourage you to still watch all of the modules so you have a better understanding of the system. And it kind of reiterates what you're doing, because you're both actually doing the same thing, just a little bit different depending on which side you're working on.